Hello everyone, welcome back. This week, the most exciting thing that happened to me was that the dean of my college asked me to participate in a discussion session with the Board of Visitors. The Board of Visitors is composed of former members of our college, many of them are alumni, and they serve as an external advisory board to the dean. And the session that I participated in was about what students can learn from getting involved in research. So that was just a really nice opportunity for me because it allowed me to reflect on something that goes beyond just the content of my research, which is mentoring. And I did this reflection together with two of my students, Miranda, who's a PhD student in educational psychology, and Haley, who is a freshman undergraduate student who's planning to major in chemistry. At the moment, my lab actually has 22 members. 9 of them are graduate students and 13 of them are undergraduates. So since my current projects focus on learning with educational technologies and chemistry, I need students from a variety of backgrounds. So my grad students from educational psychology or psychology focus on planning and conducting experiments and on analyzing results. And in doing so, they often work with their own team of undergrad students who are helping them with these tasks. In fact, that is what Miranda is doing right now. So she's leading an experiment that involves weekly sessions with about 100 participants, and Haley is one of the undergrads helping Miranda with this task. So it's really nice for me to hear from Haley what she has learned from this experience, even though she's been on my team for only 2 months. So she said, for example, she didn't know how much planning goes into doing experiments and that she enjoys working with the participants. And Miranda said that she really likes getting mentoring from me on mentoring undergraduate students herself, and she thinks this will help her in her career beyond grad school. I also have students with a more technical background like computer sciences and engineering. And they help us develop tools for our educational technologies and also for our analysis. I will probably do a video on some of that in more detail in a few weeks because we're really doing some cool things right now where we use camera recognition to recognize how students interact with physical models. For Miranda, who doesn't have a background in computer sciences, having members on our team with a more technical background was really important because she actually ended up learning to code in HTML and actually developed many of our ChemTutor problems herself. For me, it was really exciting to see her learn so fast, and HTML coding really is something that is valuable in this day and age. And then, of course, I have students from chemistry. Miranda actually worked very closely in the last year with Matthew, who's a PhD student in chemistry, and Amelia, who was a senior majoring in chemistry at the time. And they worked together on developing the chemistry content that we cover in ChemTutor, also under the supervision of a chemistry professor, John Moore. And Miranda told the Board of Visitors a really interesting story about her own perspective on this. She described how when she was an undergrad, she was originally intending to major in chemistry, but then had a really hard time learning it and then ended up shifting to a different field. And I remember her telling me this when I interviewed her for the position in my lab, and I actually thought that makes her an excellent candidate for this job because she can empathize with the students we're trying to help to learn chemistry with visuals. And Miranda talked about how she thinks more help with the visuals actually would have helped her learn in chemistry. And at the same time, she talked about learning a lot of the chemistry that was difficult for her back then by collaborating with Matthew and Amelia, and also by just digging more deeply into actually having to teach it. And then Haley also talked about how it's a nice side effect of being involved in my lab that she gets to learn the chemistry content that is actually covered in chemistry classes that she's currently taking for her degree. So for me, this session was just really rewarding because I got to reflect on mentoring, in particular when it comes to helping students from different disciplines help each other. And it was nice to hear from my own students that this actually creates learning opportunities that they would otherwise not have. So yeah, that's not the only thing actually that I took away from this session with the Board of Visitors, so I'll talk some more about that next week.